Have you ever looked at a photograph of a place and felt a strange sense of disbelief? A landscape so surreal, so utterly perfect, that your mind questions if it could possibly be real. Not just beautiful, but impossible, as if it were painted by an artist from another world, using colors we don't have names for yet. We live our lives surrounded by the familiar, the gentle curve of a local hill, the predictable grid of city streets, the specific shade of our own sky. But our planet holds secrets in its quiet corners, places that defy our expectations of what the natural world can be. They are not just destinations on a map, they are invitations. Invitations to stand before something so vast or so intricately crafted by time and chance that we are silenced by it. And in that silence, we might just feel a connection to something ancient and profound. Today, we are not just counting down a list, we are beginning a journey. A journey to places that feel more like memories of a dream. Places that remind us that the world is, and always has been, a theater of wonders. Our journey begins where the sky meets the earth. Not in a poetic sense, but in a literal one. Imagine standing on the world's largest mirror. Stretching out in every direction, a floor of salt. This is Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia. For a few months each year, a thin layer of rainwater gathers on these immense salt flats. And the boundary between heaven and earth simply dissolves. The sky isn't above you anymore. It's all around you. You are walking on clouds. The mountains in the distance don't sit on the horizon. They float in a sea of blue and white. There is no sound here but the beat of your own heart, a profound, humbling silence. It feels like the first day of creation, or perhaps the last. A canvas wiped clean, waiting for something new to be born. The air is thin, the sun intense, everything feels sharp, elemental. This isn't a place you simply see with your eyes. It's a place you feel with your entire being. A reminder that the simplest ingredients, salt, water, and light, can create the most extraordinary art. From this minimalist masterpiece, we travel to a different artist's studio. To the Zhangye National Geopark in China. Here, the earth is not a mirror, but a tapestry. The mountains are not made of stone, but of color itself. They are called the Rainbow Mountains, and for good reason. For millions of years, layers of different colored sandstone and minerals were pressed together, like a giant geological layer cake. Then, the slow, patient sculpting of wind and rain carved them into the shapes we see today. Stripes of deep red, vibrant yellow, and soft emerald green flow across the hills in impossible bands. It looks like a child's painting writ large upon the land. There's a sense of playfulness here, a joyfulness in the landscape, as if nature, for a moment, decided to abandon subtlety. To see it at sunrise or sunset is to watch the colors shift and deepen. The reds become fiery, the yellows turn to gold. You walk through valleys that seem to blush in the fading light. It's a place that teaches you about time. Not the frantic, hurried time of human lives, but the deep, slow, patient time of the earth. The kind of time that can move mountains and paint them in the process. From China's painted hills, our path leads us to water, but not to the ocean or a single grand lake. It leads us to a symphony of water in Croatia. The Plitvice Lakes National Park. This is not one lake, but 16 of them, each one spilling into the next through a network of waterfalls. They cascade down a series of natural travertine dams built up over millennia by moss, algae, and bacteria. The water itself is a marvel. It changes color with the seasons and even the time of day. From azure to turquoise, from deep green to gray. The colors are determined by the minerals, the organisms, and the angle of the sunlight filtering through the trees. To walk here is to be surrounded by the sound of moving water. A constant, gentle roar, a whisper, and a rush. Wooden boardwalks snake across the lakes, allowing you to walk just inches above the surface. You can see fallen trees resting peacefully on the lake bed, encased in the crystal clear water for decades. They look like sleeping giants. It's a world teeming with life, yet it feels ancient and sacred. A closed system, perfectly balanced, where water is not just a force, but the architect of the entire landscape. It's a place of constant creation, a flow of change. And it reminds us that beauty is often found not in stillness, but in the gentle, persistent movement of life itself. These first three places, a mirror of salt, mountains of color, and a cascade of lakes, are not just beautiful sights. They are dialogues between the elements, a conversation between water, earth, and sky. And to witness them is to be invited into that conversation, to listen to what the world is saying. When we finally take the time to be quiet, our journey now takes us north to a place where the line between myth and reality feels thin. The Faroe Islands, a scattered archipelago in the North Atlantic. Here, the world feels raw and elemental. These are not gentle, rolling hills. They are dramatic cliffs that plunge into a churning sea. Giants of dark basalt draped in impossible shades of green. Waterfalls pour directly from the cliff tops into the ocean below. The weather here is not just a backdrop. It's a character in the story, a constant presence. Mist clings to the mountainsides, shrouding them in mystery. One moment, the sun breaks through, illuminating a single, perfect valley. The next, a squall sweeps in from the sea, and the world is reduced to wind and water. Villages with turf-roofed houses huddle in protected fjords. They seem like outposts on the edge of the world. There is a sense of profound isolation here. But it is not an empty isolation, it's a powerful solitude. The kind that makes you feel small, but also connected to the sheer force of nature. To stand on a Faroese cliff is to feel the wind in your bones, to watch the puffins and gannets ride the updrafts, and to understand that for thousands of years, this has been a world governed by the sea and the sky. It's a landscape that doesn't ask for your attention. It commands it, and it leaves you with a feeling of deep, quiet respect. From the moody grandeur of the North Atlantic, we journey to a different kind of coast, a place so sacred and inaccessible, it has remained largely untouched by the modern world, the Nampali coast of Kauai in Hawaii. This is not a coastline of gentle, sandy beaches, it is a fortress of nature. Emerald green cliffs, sharp as razors, rise thousands of feet from the Pacific. They are called the pali, the Hawaiian word for cliffs. Over millions of years, relentless erosion has carved them into a breathtaking series of ridges and valleys. There are no roads that lead here. You can only see it by helicopter, from a boat on the sea, or by hiking a treacherous, ancient trail. This inaccessibility is part of its magic. It has preserved a vision of Hawaii as it once was, a primal paradise. Waterfalls cascade down the fluted cliff faces, disappearing into the lush green below. Hidden beaches appear and disappear with the tides. Sea caves, carved by the powerful winter swells, echo with the sound of the ocean. Looking up at these cliffs from the water, you feel like you've sailed back in time. There is a deep spirituality to this place. You can feel the mana, the life force, that Hawaiians speak of. It is in the air, in the steepness of the cliffs, in the sheer, overwhelming greenness of it all. The Nampali coast is a testament to the fact that some of the greatest treasures on Earth are the ones that are hardest to reach. They are protected by their own formidable beauty. Now, we leave the world of water and green and travel to a landscape of silence and space. The desert of Wadi Rum in Jordan. This is not a desert of endless, rolling dunes. It is a valley carved out of sandstone and granite. A landscape of majestic rock formations that rise from the red sand floor. They are called jebels, and they have been shaped by the wind into vast, sweeping shapes that look like petrified giants. This place is often called the Valley of the Moon, and as the sun begins to set, you understand why. The light turns the red sand into a soft, glowing pink. The shadows stretch and deepen, turning the mountains into dark silhouettes. The silence here is absolute. It's a silence that is so complete, you can almost hear the stars. This is a landscape that has witnessed millennia of human history. Ancient petroglyphs are carved into the rock faces. The remnants of Nabatean temples lie half buried in the sand. You are walking through a history book written in stone. To spend a night in Wadi Rum is to experience true darkness. And in that darkness, the sky comes alive. The Milky Way stretches from horizon to horizon, a river of light so bright it feels like you could reach out and touch it. It's a humbling, perspective-altering experience. It connects you to the Bedouin people who have called this desert home for centuries. They understand its rhythms, its secrets, its stark beauty. Wadi Rum is not empty. It is full of space, full of history, full of a quiet, powerful spirit that stays with you long after you have left its silence behind. These places, the defiant islands, the sacred coast, the silent desert, they teach us a different kind of beauty, not the gentle, comforting beauty of a garden, but the raw, untamable beauty of a world that exists on its own terms. They remind us that we are guests here, and that some places are most beautiful when they are left alone. To be admired from a distance, with a sense of wonder and of awe, our journey has taken us across mirrors of salt and mountains of color. We have stood on the edge of the world and walked through valleys of the moon. Now, for our final chapter, we go in search of light. But we will find it in the most unexpected of places, deep underground. We traveled to Waitomo in New Zealand to a series of unassuming caves. You step from the bright daylight into the cool, damp darkness. You board a small boat and drift onto a silent, subterranean river. At first, there is only blackness, and then, as your eyes adjust, you see it. The ceiling above you begins to glow, not with a single light, but with thousands of tiny, blue-green stars. A private galaxy just for you. This is the work of a tiny creature, the glowworm. Arachnocompa luminosa. They cling to the ceiling of the cave, trailing sticky, silk-like threads that glow with a soft, bioluminescent light. To drift beneath them is to feel like you are floating through space. The silence is absolute, broken only by the gentle lapping of water against the boat. It is a profoundly peaceful, almost spiritual experience. A reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there can be an entire universe of light. It's a beauty that feels delicate and alive. A secret world hidden away from the sun. From this living galaxy, we journey to a world made of frozen light. To the Skaftafell ice caves in Iceland, these are not permanent structures. They are temporary cathedrals, formed by melting water that tunnels its way through the ancient blue ice of a glacier. Each winter, new caves are born, and each summer, they melt and disappear. To enter one is to step inside a sapphire. The light filters down through the incredibly dense, compressed ice. It absorbs almost every color except for blue. The result is an otherworldly, luminous glow that surrounds you. The walls are like polished glass, sculpted by water into impossible curves. You can see air bubbles, trapped for centuries, like frozen moments in time. You can hear the glacier groaning and shifting around you. A living, breathing river of ice, it is both beautiful and terrifying. A powerful testament to the constant, dynamic state of our planet, these caves are a fleeting beauty. A reminder that some of the most profound experiences are the ones that cannot last. Their brief existence is what makes them so precious. For our final destination, we look up. We leave the caves of ice and earth and turn our eyes to the sky to witness the greatest light show on Earth, the Aurora Borealis. We travel far north inside the Arctic Circle to a place like Tromsø in Norway, where the long winter nights provide a perfect canvas. You stand in the crisp, cold air under a sky full of stars. And then it begins, a faint, green shimmer on the horizon. It grows, it brightens, it begins to move. Vast curtains of light start to dance across the heavens. Pale green, soft pink, and sometimes a ghostly violet. They twist and swirl, they ripple and flow, as if the sky itself has come alive. There is no sound, only this silent, majestic dance. It is caused by charged particles from the sun, striking atoms in the Earth's atmosphere. A scientific explanation that does nothing to diminish the magic. To witness the aurora is to feel a sense of profound wonder, a connection to the cosmos, to the immense forces of the universe. It feels like a gift, a message written in light from a star 93 million miles away. So, what do we take with us from these 10 places, more than just images or memories? We carry the feeling, the silence of the salt flats, the patience of the painted mountains, the untamed spirit of the northern Isles, the starlit darkness of the desert, the silent glow of a hidden world. These places are still out there, existing in their profound, impossible beauty. They remind us that our world is a place of deep magic, of art created by geology, time, and light. And they ask nothing of us except, perhaps, to be quiet for a moment, to look, to listen, and to remember that we are part of something beautiful and far grander than we can ever truly know.